Okay, I know what you guys are about to say in the comments. Oh, you're copying off Goose Boost's Gifts We Never Got series. You guys think you're slick with that response because you guys just activated my trap card. Inspiration! Yes, these videos were inspired by Goose Boost in the sense that I'm talking about games that were never released in the West for the 12 days of Christmas. Well, not 12 because it's not been reduced to 7 because I got sick in between, but I'm not a seer because I don't know what games he's going to look at. Hey Goose, if the games we choose cross within one another, I swear it was out of sheer coincidence. These are games that won't fill up an actual JuggzMcGee review due to it either being short or the game doesn't have that much research behind it. I wanted to think of something to fill out my month of December because I don't usually post videos in December because it's the holidays, of course. Also because I am in the mood for making shorter videos since they're really easy to edit and script compared to my longer form videos. Don't worry guys, the Kunio-kun series will come back in 2020. It requires a lot of research and it gets a bit nerve-wracking with what I want to put in video form. Being in that holiday mood since it's my favorite month of the year, I thought I would give you guys videos to make up for the many breaks that I do on my channel. Also to show that I'm able to be consistent with my content. My whole entire goal for YouTube is not to make money. I would donate all that money to charity if I were to make money on YouTube. My main goal is to show gamers what games we might be overlooking and put them in a spotlight. So why not do these games justice and give them the respect they need? So starting on it says 13th, god damn it. Starting on the 18th, which is next week as of this recording, there will be 7 videos starting with Osu Takateo Wendan, I butchered that damn name, on the Nintendo DS. Wanna know what it's about? Subscribe to my channel so you can see why. Or you can just Google about it if you're a big stinking jerk. Whatever you want to do, be sure to stay tuned because there's gonna be non-stop videos at no cost while costing my own sleep and sanity. And as usual guys, see you in the next video. Take care and happy holidays to those that celebrate certain holidays. Growing up, I always wanted to know how it feels like to be a cheerleader. See, I played baseball in middle school and high school, so I never had the chance of a cheerleading squad hyping up the 25-man squad since there was hardly a crowd to cheer for. Cheerleaders were reserved for the basketball team and the many pep rallies in high school, even if the basketball team kinda sucked donkey dick for all the 4 years I was there. Reading through the many IGN articles and watching X-Play reviews during that time, a little game known as the Leafy Agent came into my radar. The next thing you know, it was on my lap, and that saved me a lot of headaches during that time from preventing me from joining the cheerleader squad, and my friends ripping me a new one too, now that you mentioned it. Okay, maybe that's a bit too romanticized. What actually happened was that I was a fool by selling Fire Emblem Path of Radiance for the GameCube when this game came out. Which, now looking at the price of the game, I regret it as a GameCube collector, so this one stings a bit. Okay, a little bit is the understatement of the year. But at the same time, I got a good game in the process, so that's my defense. Leafy Agent is one of those games that refuel my love for rhythm games. Also, it made sense for me at the time because it kept my rhythm in check so I won't go to band being out of place. It's like an enrichment course of some sorts, but in the form of a fun video game. Basically, you play as members of a fictional government agency, the Leafy Agents, responding to those in need. Seriously, some of these people reach their breaking points when they are in crisis. These panels are amazing in showing so. Now, I really wished I had a cheerleading squad to motivate me for my entire life, because Christ, I would have made my bouts with anxiety non-existent. Willing to pay for a motivation squad? DM me, please. No, you don't directly help these people out, but you use the power of music to encourage their clients and motivate them to overcome their obstacles. A lot of these scenarios are humans, like a babysitter having trouble taking care of a rowdy couple of kids, to a ninja trying to go through his heist. There's even one scenario where a zombie apocalypse happens, and the only way to cure them is to feed them peanuts. There are scenarios that are a bit darker, like motivating a daughter to Christmas after losing her father in an unexplained tragedy, only for her to reunite him in spirit. That right there can make a grown man cry. Now excuse me, I need to go punch a wall to make myself feel like a man again. A lot of the music fits within the narrative of the scenario too. Like Seth Griffith's tragedy, the song played is You're the Inspiration by Chicago, albeit a cover version. Another thing to note is that all the music in this game are covers, probably because the license to use the music is expensive, and if Nintendo were to resell the game in the future, they won't have to pay the royalties up the wazoo to do so. Each of these scenarios are not connected to an overarching narrative, but the characters involved in each scenario take part in the final level to eliminate an alien invasion that hates music. Gameplay is done through all the touchscreen, notes are portrayed in number order, and there is a timing circle surrounding them. Once the timing circle converges to the number circle, you tap it and you get a score off of it. X means you're way off, 50 means you're still off, 100 means you're a bit close, 300 means you are perfect. Phrase markers are done by holding the stylus while following the path. Spin markers are done by spinning your stylus till the entire background lights up. If you get too many failed notes, you'll fail the level and have to start right from the beginning. The game has 4 difficulties, each having different characters to play. These characters have no special abilities to them. It's just a character skin if you want to look at it that way. Each difficulty puts you more on your toes as the timing circles get quicker and the patterns become a mess to handle. Only the most seasoned of players of this game can get S ranks in every song they play. That is pretty much it for Leafy Agent in a nutshell, but what if I told you there is a version us Westerners never got? I mean, it isn't JuggzMas without mentioning a game that we didn't get. That game is, okay, I'm known for butchering Japanese names, but here goes nothing. Osu Tatakai Owendan, or Go Fight Cheer Squad for Nintendo DS. This is a Japanese version of Leafy Agents and started the Owendan fandom in the mid-2000s. Instead of a group of agents motivating people in crisis, is an actual cheer squad. They even have the whole getup of a cheer squad too. If you ever seen what a cheer squad does, they're usually at sports events motivating the home team. They do this by saying chants, playing drums and whistles, and of course dancing like what is happening in the game. Being the progenitor of the series, the concept of the game remains the same overall like a Leafy Agents, but with a Japanese aesthetic to it. A lot of the songs used of course is J-pop music from the late 90s to the early 2000s. Owendan was a cult hit among gamers because it was unlike any other game that was seen in the West, hence why it was a highly sought out import game. In response to this, Ines developed Leafy Agents. Owendan got a Japanese only sequel which is known as, oh boy, here we go again, Moro Neketsu Rhythm Damashi Osu Tatakai Owendan 2. Try saying that 5 times fast, I dare ya. That mouthful of a title translates to Burn, Hot Rhythm Soul, Go Fight, Cheer Squad 2. Once again released for Nintendo DS in 2007, has the same premise but with a much bigger set list and a rival cheer squad to use. The entire map is split down the middle for missions you can use as the main cheer squad and the new cheer squad. Their stories get intertwined in the final level of the game to cheer the entire world in order to save the Earth when the sun stops, putting the Earth into another ice age. So as you can see, these games have been pretty much the same through its iterations, they just have a different set list. Overall, the series has never been brought back to the business reasons according to Liam Robertson of Did You Know Gaming. Still to this day, there's no more Owendan games, but fans of the games like Dean Peppy Herbert keep the fandom going with Osu, a fan-made version of the Owendan series, which is a game active in the esports community. Sometimes the fans are what keep the ball rolling, and this is a perfect example. While we may never see another Owendan game, we can at least remember for what it was and the community it started. In conclusion, play the Owendan series. It's not that hard to find on eBay, and that's pretty much it. This is Jug signing out, and see you in tomorrow's video.
Hey Dad, I wanted to be a fireman when I grew up.
Why is that, son?
I wanted to be like those characters from the anime Fire Force.
Son, you're not a fireman. Go back to your room and play the fireman on this nest. That will teach you how real firemen are.
Why you have to make me play such a boomer game? I hate your dad for ruining my hopes and dreams.
Oh good, that coast is clear. I can watch Fire Force now that little shit is gone. Dub over sub.
Firefighting, one of the most exciting yet life-threatening occupations ever known to man next to oil rig drilling. There hasn't been any good firefighting games besides the Fireman and Ignition Factor on this NES. It's just sad because firefighting seems like a match made in heaven for a video game, it just was not executed correctly and resulted in bad games. Looking at you Firefighter FD18 and City Crisis, thinking you two delinquents will not get away with that easily. Between the Fireman and Ignition Factor, Fireman is the better game, and this game was never released in the US, only in Europe and Japan, which is why in day 2 of JuggzMas, we are going to tackle the Fireman on the SNES. Also, can someone tell me if the name is grammatically correct? Should it be Fireman alone, or did Human Head Interactive decide to add the into Fireman just to grab the attention of gamers? So here's the setting of the game. In the year 2000, New York City, hey, that's my hometown! A chemical company, Microtech, is having their annual Christmas party. See, now there's even more of a better reason to play this game now that the holidays are involved. Anyways, a fire breaks out which spreads throughout the whole building, fueled by the various chemicals within the company. That seems like a huge safety hazard to have all your chemicals in the same building you work at. I guess they forgot the concept of warehouses or storage spaces. Not going to lie with you guys, this scenario reminds me of Die Hard 1. All taking place on Christmas minus the Russian terrorist, with Professor Snape being the leader of the group. Also replace the gun with a fire hose and you got yourself the fireman.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I guess you could technically count this as a Christmas game just on the date alone. I'll take it either way. This is where our pair of firemen, Pete and Danny of the Sector D Fire Brigade, hop in to save the many employees and family members stuck within the Microtech building. Unlike Ignition Factor, Fireman is fast paced with its arcadey type of gameplay. Everything is so quick and to the point you almost forget that you're saving people in this game too. Also, these fires are sentient and have a mind of their own. This doesn't include the robots whose circuits are probably fried due to the fire. Gameplay is pretty simple in order to make stressful situations easier to handle. You control Pete throughout the whole game while Danny is AI control, who is surprisingly effective at doing his job by stomping out ground fires and using his axe to stop bigger ones. Not every day you see a reliable AR partner in your helm. Pressing the Y button sprays water in a straight direction. Also good for long range attacks since there is a lot of enemies you don't want to be touching. The B button lets you spray water downwards, almost like a spread shot of sorts since it has a wide area of effect. Good for eliminating ground fires and dealing big damage to enemies. Pressing the X button lets you throw an extinguishing bomb because the letter X is in extinguished. I don't know where this joke was heading, so let's just move on. Trying to find research on why this game was never released is a difficult thing to find. However, I found this Destructoid article that mentions Fireman as part of a list known as 8 great SNES games that never made it to the US. They mentioned that Human Entertainment, and quoting, never gave much of a damn about the West. That seems quite like a bold take to make, but if you're looking at the repertoire of their games, you come to realize why the hell weren't these games released in the West. Clock Tower is a game that every horror fan should know. Yeah, Human had made the original Super Famicom version. Fire Pro Wrestling and Twilight Syndrome are other games they made. See, to a normal gamer it has no significance, but if I told you that it launched the career of Suda51, then the whole narrative has been changed. He's known for making games like Killer 7 and No More Heroes series. So any of these games weren't released to the West, we at least got a godly creator that's a bit insane in the head like Yoko Taro or Hideo Kojima. That is one way to turn a negative into a positive. So yes, try the Fireman out. It's a good game to beat in one sitting. Controls the AR are tight while the game provides enough of a challenge. Enough to flex at a girl in the bar grade by saying, hey babe, I beat the Fireman on the SNES. Wanna go out and play some Pac-Man with me? Waterfalls. Just straight waterfalls. Okay, this script is going off the rails. I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. Jug signing off. Should've never typed the script out while having eggnog in my system. It's just not good. Oh look, it's another rhythm game within this JuggzMas. I swear I don't have a bias to a certain genre, it's just a lot of rhythm games tend to not make it out west, with some exceptions of course. The genre has gone through ebbs and flows, with DDR bringing in the rhythm genre, and of course the weird rhythm games like Parappa the Rapper and Guitar Man, which I reviewed on my channel a while ago. Click on the card to see the review and support the channel, by the way. Shameless plug now over. Then the genre went through a bit of a lull till Rock Band Guitar Hero came out and popularized peripheral based music games. Then the market got too saturated, hence the series crashed and burned like a dumpster fire. During these said lulls, there have been some hidden gems of music games that have gone under the radar, some not even leaving the land of the rising sun. Rhythm Tengoku is one of them. Now you might know this game because the series did eventually pierce into the American market with Rhythm Heaven on the Nintendo DS. However, the GBA version never landed over here. Revert to the fan base as Rhythm Heaven Silver is, like the title states, a rhythm game, but not in the sense of what you think a typical rhythm game is like. The game is more minigame based rather than one homogeneous gameplay theme. Every minigame has their purpose, that is for you to pay attention to the audio cues the game gives you and press the necessary buttons accordingly. See, this might seem easy on paper, but as you get deeper and deeper into the game, the tasks become more difficult, forcing you to focus. It is highly recommended to play this game with headphones so you can hear the audio cues clearly. Sometimes headphones might not keep you in rhythm, as I resorted to toe tapping and nodding to keep myself in rhythm. This game was made by Nintendo, so of course there are going to be comparisons to WarioWare. Reason why is due to both having simple controls and similar art styles. Doesn't help that the developer that made this game also worked on WarioWare. Stages are broken down into sets, each having a different theme to them. In one minigame, Karate Man, you press the A button at the right moment to punch away stones, pots, and bombs. In another one, you are swinging away baseballs while the screen either keeps moving closer or further away, with the help only given to you is the audio cues. After every 5 stages or so, a new stage opens, with it being a remix of the previous stage all at once. These stages use actual J-pop songs at the time for the remix stages. Some of these are pretty kick-ass to listen to. At the end of each stage, you are rated from how shit or how amazing you did in the stage. Let me tell you, some of these criticisms again can hit you pretty hard even when you get an okay rating on it. Like, come on, this stage is hard to grasp the rhythm. Cut me some slack over here, my guy. Also, let it be known I am playing this through an emulator and the input lag is insane in this. So bad that I had to go into Retro Archer setting and change the input delay timing to not fuck me over. This is not a fault of the game by any means, just how the game is being emulated. Even though there is no true reason to why Rhythm Tengoku has never been released in the West, but with a bit of speculation while looking at facts can help us determine what the reason is. Let's put this simply, the game came out in 2006, the Nintendo DS came out in 2004. The game had no business to be on a console that was a generation behind. Remind you, this is how Nintendo thinks most of the time with their games, not necessarily the way how I think. Who do you think I am, Josh Thomas from the Bit Block? With that mentality, Nintendo thought it was better to make the game for the Nintendo DS since it was a big moneymaker at the time. Now, where have I heard about this same scenario before? It goes something like Nebula Dark 2. Nah, doesn't ring any bells. If anything, Nintendo probably wanted us to forget the game ever existed in the first place. Luckily, the game's legacy carried after the post-GBA years, with 3 more games being added to it, with Rhythm Heaven making its way stateside in 2009. Each game building upon what the other had, and much grander scales of music games, setting the bar every time a new Rhythm Heaven comes out. In my opinion, play Rhythm Heaven Fever. It has everything that a Rhythm Heaven game should have. With that being said, this is Jug signing off, and see you tomorrow with another part to JuggzMas. Take care, guys. You know what feels good after a long day of work? Just sitting down with your home cooked meal, pulling your favorite show on whatever stream service you use. Everything was all coming together. but then you realize you're missing something. Your beverage. You can't just have a good meal without a beverage in your hand. You have to be some sort of a barbarian if you don't eat your food with a drink. Then you say to yourself, I am no barbarian. So you open up your mini fridge and pull out a nice can of refreshing Pepsi. As you sip down through its fizzy goodness, you have a sudden moment of clarity that, damn, Coca-Cola fucking sucks. And then you decide to have more, and from there it's smooth sailing. After all's been said and done, taking that last drop of Pepsi, you realize life fucking sucks without Pepsi, man. Then the next day you figured out you have diabetes. Have a Pepsi. Oh my god. Okay, I really don't know what the hell was on when typing on this intro gag. It's all intro but no gag, let alone punchline. I guess I did pull some dark humor in that end, but I feel it's in bad taste, almost if I needed a Pepsi to wash it all down. Okay, enough with the puns, let's just talk about the damn game. If this is your first time seeing a monstrosity like this, I wouldn't blame you. This guy in a morph suit is Pepsi Man, the Japanese mascot for Pepsi in the 90s. His role in these commercials is to appear to people who are thirsty or craving soda. He just happens to appear at the right time with the product. A running gag in these commercials is that he takes an injury or two after delivering soda to the people. On a day's work, I guess. If he were a hero in One Punch Man's universe, he would be a B rank because at least he has some sort of power, unlike Moomin Rider, even if he is the best character in the show. He became so popular in Japan that Pepsi gave funds to a developer being KID Corp to develop a Pepsi Man video game. This wouldn't be Pepsi Man's first time in video games because he is in the Sega Saturn version of fighting vipers as a special character in the game. His specialty states as the ability to quench one's thirst. Let me make a quick Google search to see who KID Corp is. Here we go. KID, an acronym standing for Kindle, Imagine, Develop, was a Japan-based company specializing in porting and developing the shoujo games. Okay, this is where I draw the line. This video is not going to be a Wii fest on the get-go. No siree. Cutting that shit off as soon as possible.
Attention fellow gamers, no anime beyond this point.
Of course, being a Japanese only mascot, this game only came out in Japan, but thanks to emulation, we can play this game and bask in its high fructose corn syrup glory. I'm allowed to make soda based puns, cut me some slack over here, it's my video. Pepsi Man to me looks like a runner type of game. I don't think that is the genre name. Wikipedia calls it an action game. I mean, there's a lot going on in the game, so I guess it could pass as an action game, though it seems a bit too broad to fit under that umbrella. One way to compare this game is like Muscle March on the Wii, minus running into the wall to fit into a shape and less muscly, of course. The game consists of 4 stages, each divided into segments. In one level, you'll be running through a neighborhood. Another one, you can be running through a train tunnel. And finally, a town that's going through straight up anarchy. I mean, look at this. And Pepsi Man's just casually running through all of this. Pepsi Man automatically runs through these levels, so all you have to do is move him out of the way. Whether it's to move him from side to side with the D-pad, jumping over them, or slide dash into them. You're even given a charge button to go through obstacles that are capable of being broken. In some levels, Pepsi Man can ride a skateboard, while in others he becomes stuck in a steel drum, which inverts the controls. If Pepsi Man gets hit by obstacles too many times, you restart from your latest checkpoint. At the end of each stage, Pepsi Man is chased by certain objects which include a giant Pepsi can. Talk about being ironic that your own brand you are advertising, the thing that wants to kill you. Numb explains in real life on what soda does to you if you drink too much of it. You are only putting yourself at risk. In between stages, you are shown FMVs of an American man. Wikipedia says the actor's name is Mike Butters, so we'll roll with it. He is hogging down chips and pizza while drinking Pepsi while watching you play. It's like the Japanese want to pick this stereotypical American to be in this game. While hilarious and somewhat true in a sense, I can't help but feel attacked even though I'm slightly overweight. Now I feel scared because Butterman is watching me play this game. I need an adult, badly.
You're doing pretty good. Have a Pepsi. Next stage.
Funny thing, this game was supposed to come to America because there was an American publisher who were looking into acquiring the rights for this game. I mean, even the game is in full English rather than Japanese. According to the 3D model of the game, Kotaro Uchikoshi, this was his first job. He was hired by KID to make a video game adaptation of board games, but the game was already deep in development when he joined the company in '98. Uchikoshi said the game didn't sell well, probably a contributing reason to why it wasn't localized in America, even if it has been proven that some games from Japan do better in the States, but that ain't my problem. The game overall is funny, but not great nor bad. It fits into the category of company branded games that don't suck. Looking at you, cool spot. Just the fact that it relies on a sheer lunacy and absurdity that goes beyond makes you want to look at this game with a bit of an open mind. Nothing wrong with trying a weird game here and there. Besides that, enjoy the rest of your day by sitting back and drinking a glass of water because hydration is life. See you guys in the next video. always wanted a model kit when I was growing up, specifically the mecha model kits, but being from a working class family, my parents couldn't buy it. Plus they saw how many pieces it comes with to assemble, especially being a choking hazard for a kid like me, hence why my parents opted to get me Legos and Mega Blocks. This whole mecha fever was probably fueled by the shows I watched at the time like Gundam Wing, Transformers Armada, and Neon Genesis Evangelion. Sadly at the time, in my limited knowledge, I never had a chance to play the mecha games that were out this time. It wasn't until Smash Bros. Melee where I got a trophy for Array Mark 1 that I got introduced to a little known Nintendo series known as Custom Robo 64. I still couldn't get my hands on the game because of course no money, and I still don't know how to import Japanese games. Thankfully emulators were a thing. I didn't understand jack shit because it was all Japanese, but it was pretty simple to understand how the game works. But it still crosses my mind why this game was never released in the first place. It's kinda hard to pinpoint exact reasons to why this game was never released, but I found some articles and sales to figure out the reason why the game was never released. An IGN article points out that the game is intended for a Japanese audience, specifically for the little boys collecting and customizing their toys. While one could speculate that mecha games don't sell well in the USA, it seems to be hard to find some evidence besides VG charts, which is known to be inaccurate. But through various accounts, the Armored Core series did better in Japan than it did in the US, and Daemon X Machina is getting a lot more support in Japan and the West. I want my Nirvash DLC Marvelous, give it to me now! Unless there is official data, it is only up to speculation at this point to why the game was not sold in the US. Maybe we could speculate that Nintendo was making another custom Robo game for the GameCube and didn't want to bring the N64 version stateside as usual. I mean, in the previous other videos, that seems to be the reason half of the time why Nintendo didn't bring games over. But that reason falls apart really quickly because the game came out in 1999 while the GameCube was released 2 years later. Now we can go all day on the reasons why this game was never released, but one question we need to know is how good the game is. Custom Robo is a battle action game where you customize your robots to your heart's content. That is simply one way to explain it, but there's more to this game. More of the game is done through story mode, which is where you get most if not all the parts for your toy robots in this game. It starts off with your character receiving a custom robot named Ray. Immediately you're thrust into the battle world known as the Holosseum. At the start of battle, the players fire their robots off of cannons which can be targeted anywhere on their arena. Robots are kept in queues when they are fired off, and each face of said die has a body part. This is important because this determines how easy or difficult it is to mobilize your robot. For example, if it lands on heads, it will take a while for your robot to activate it since its head is stuck on the ground, hence why it's preferred for the dice to land on the feet too. Moving your robot is really responsive paired with the smooth 60 FPS. Actions down the controller are pinpoint accurate. The analog stick does all the movement obviously, while the A button fires off your main weapon. The B button fires off your secondary weapons, usually a grenade. The Z button fires off shoulder cannons, and the R button activates your jetpack, which makes quick getaways from attacks. The C buttons, surprisingly enough, are used in this game, which is used for close quarters combat. This game pits you with many opponents after another, each with an increasing variation of difficulty depending how you customize your robot. Robot customization is a big aspect about this game and should be considered depending on the robots you are going against. Parts can vary from having a spread shot, heat-seeking missiles, and multi-missiles. Parts can affect your robot too, some by giving you more defense at the cost of speed or vice versa, while some can handle certain types of weapons than others. There's an infinite amount of customization to do with your robot, it is insane. So by all means, customize to your heart's content. I will go into the nitty gritty of this game, but this is a short video, not an actual JuggzMcGee review. With that being said, this is Juggs signing off, and see ya with the final video in this year's JuggzMas.